looked forward to, and then you thought of it, and it happened, and your first night in the grave will take place just like that night took place. And if you, that one, the first night in the grave, is the bubble of the neck, And if that one goes by easily and happily, then the rest will be easier and happier. And if that one goes by harshly, then the rest will certainly be much harsher. So as everything else came by, this will come by. And just these reminders will make you more devoted. Okay, so you push, we're talking about pushing here yourself to your maximum potential, but then at one point there are people who do push themselves to the maximum potential, but yet despite being at their maximum potential, they're still too afraid, and those are the people for which hope is prescribed in greater measure than fear. And the first type of people are the people who are not pushing themselves. They're actually too far from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but what is keeping them too far is their desperation. It's their despair that they can ever return to Allah, or Allah will ever accept their repentance. For the other kinds of people, they need to be treated with a greater measure of fear, particularly the people who are reckless. And that is pretty much most of the people nowadays. They need to be treated with a greater measure or dose of fear because they are negligent or reckless or heedless. And these are all different meanings. You know, the heedless is the one who just, he doesn't care about the hereafter. He doesn't think of the hereafter. It's not an issue for him. And the reckless is the one who thinks of the hereafter every once in a while, but it just doesn't matter to him. He's defiant. He is like satanic in nature, and defiant and reckless, and so on. So the heedless and the reckless are ones that need to be treated with a greater dose or measure of fear. And between this and that, you really need to be very careful. If you are a preacher, he says here, Imam Ali highlighted, a scholar should not make people desperate from the Almighty's mercy, nor make them secure His wrath, or make them feel secure about His wrath. By the way, Imam ibn Qudama, this translation is inaccurate because Imam ibn Qudama attributed this to the Prophet ﷺ, not to Ali radiallahu anhu. That's in the first place. It is authentic from Ali, it's not authentic from the Prophet, however. So maybe that's why the translator attributed to Ali. But when you translate, you probably should abide by the authors. You should be honest to the text. And if you want to make a note, you make it in the footnote. So it is authentic from Ali radiallahu anhu. But do we say Imam Ali? We don't say Imam Ali. This is something that came to us from the Shia. Ali is greater than Imam. You know, Ali is one of the greatest four after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam radiallahu anhu. So he is, Al-Imam al-Akbar is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Ali is an Imam, and Uthman is an Imam, and Abu Bakr is an Imam, and Umar is an Imam. But to single out Ali by the mention of the word Imam every time we talk about Ali ibn Abi Talib, this is the Imamite belief or Imamate belief that the Shia has. They believe that Ali is the Imam and the rest are not deserving of the Khilafah or the rulership. And so to single out Ali by the title of an Imam is a mistake, is wrong, and it is it's the Shia influence on some of the authors and some of the writers. Is Ali an Imam? He is certainly an Imam. He is greater than most of the people that we call imams. He's greater than Imam Abu Hanifa, he's greater than Imam Shafi'i, he's greater than Imam Malik, he's greater than Imam Ahmad, he's greater than Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, he's greater than Imam Al-Awza'i, he's greater than all of them, that's for sure, with no doubt. But why do we single out Ali with the word Imam and not Uthman and not Umar and not Abu Bakr? This is the influence of the Shia on some of our authors, and we should not fall into this trap. So Ali is one of the greatest four. But if we don't call them imams, we call them Khulafa al-Rashidun, the rightly guided Khalifas. Because you could be, the rightly guided Khalifa is by necessity an imam, and the opposite is not true. The rightly guided Khalifa is by necessity an imam, the opposite is not true. So Ali radiallahu anhu says, a scholar should not make people desperate from the Almighty's mercy, nor make them feel secure about His wrath. And that is the issue of balance that we were talking about. The issue of balance that we were talking about is that you have to walk on this fine line without letting the people go far into despair or go far into heedlessness and recklessness. And then that's what you should do with yourself as well, a measure of hope and a measure of fear. Inshallah, then next time we'll talk more about somewhere on hope and fear, but I would like to stop here and just give a chance for the sisters to ask questions. And the brothers as well, but I'll give precedence to the sisters. You can keep it if you want. Close it, keep it. This is, I don't know. I get terrified every day by the look of my email inbox. And then when I'm here, there are no questions.
You should go to your inbox. Get to your inbox, yes.
Yes. So some questions are private, and I do certainly understand that they should be emailed, but there are a lot of questions that are not really private. They can be discussed in public. Yes?
How should you inculcate fear of committing sins where there's a difference of opinion on the status of the action? Some saying permissible, some saying disliked, some saying forbidden, leaving a wide range and falling into the situation where, whether for selfish reasons or otherwise, you convince yourself that you favor the one that's more permissive, but you still feel guilty.
Okay, well, first of all, there is a difference between maqata al-ahkam wa madarij al-wara, which means that there is a difference between maqata al-ahkam maqata is like the intersections, but here it would mean more like the bounds of rulings. Madarij al-wara. Madarij is like stairs or ranks, one on top of the other. Al-wara is a term that refers to the abstinence from that which is permissible out of fear of falling into that which is impermissible.